box. This is another report that is important, and it breaks down how many questions the students answer correctly, the reading passage level that they're on, how many words they read correct per minute, and what they scored on the TDI report, whether they were below expectations or they met expectations. So this is another report that you can look at when you're grouping your students.
And that's the same report that Ms. Van Gates was talking about earlier when she was speaking about kindergarten. If they're struggling with certain letters, this report will tell you exactly which letters the babies couldn't get or sounds. The report looks like that.
And then you have your target and expectation guidance document. For first grade, by AP1, they should be reading sound and pig. If they're not reading sound and pig by AP1, they're in listening comprehension. By AP2, they should be reading chores. By AP3, a new ball game. Now, if you have a student in first grade and that's reading spiders and arachnids, they're ready to roll. They're on the go. They're doing extremely well. And the same thing for second grade. By AP1, they want the students to be reading My Sister Looks Funny. AP2, Bombs Away. AP2, The Butterflies Are Coming, and AP3, Bombs Away. And if they're not reading these passages by that assessment period, they bump them down. They bump them down to a color. Yeah.
Does kindergarten get to reading?
By AP3, they want them to be reading. Yes. So, AP. Yeah. By AP3, they should be reading.
And that's when they start the reading comprehension.
That's when they start. Yes. And that's what happens when if you look at I'm talking about kindergarten. AP1. Let's say they're in. We have. Let's say grade. Let's say we have some that's in red. AP1. And then by AP2, they're assessed on what? Letter names and sound again. So it looks like, they're doing good. They're making that progress. But by AP3, the students take a dip, a fall. Because it's assumed, they're assuming that, hey, by AP3, they should be reading. So that's what happens. So that's why it's important for those sight words, high frequency words, and get the students reading, because by AP3, it assumes that they should be reading. Grouping for instruction.
I think that's before.
Let's look at one way to use the results of the assessments to make groups for small group instruction during last hour, 60 minutes blocks. How many of you all in here have an hour for DI? Do you all have the whole hour? For the most part, everybody has an hour? So what I'm going to do now, okay, so let's look at it. This is the document I think you were talking about, hitting the bullseye. Somebody was asking about
They said it never
this.
seen.
She's in the Okay, so hitting the bullseye, the guidance document. This is what we use when we break our students into groups. This is what we look at. This is called a profiles, and we have 4 different profiles: profile A, B, C, and D. And it tells you exactly what resources to pull if your students are in profile A through D. What things to work on for comprehension, vocabulary, the guiding questions, and the student characteristics. Let me see if I have that. I don't think I saw it. No. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have a student in profile A. Students place their reading passage at 2.2 or above. So if you have students in the second grade that place at a 2.2 or higher, they're considered your profile A students. So these are the resources that you can use and pull for these students. These are your high students. Okay? And then they have one profile B, I believe is, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but probably 2.1 and below. And then profile D are your listening comprehension students.
Yeah, that's right. Angie, this is the hitting the bullseye.
Oh, okay.
we've seen this before, it was the profile things.
So if your student falls at it depends on what passage level that your students fall under. This is a document that you will use to help you with pulling resources and those guiding questions and what to do with those students.
This was applied to us in kindergarten, so we
So
don't
not
have to read
until
that
AP
action.
three, you wouldn't even, because everybody's gonna be at this.
You're right.
So we took it and we put it.
We have profiles in kindergarten as well now. Why second grade? Yeah. There's profiles in kindergarten.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I thought it was just one general profile for not there.
Oh, no, this is second grade. This is the profile.
But can we pull the profiles? Can you?
I can get it for you. Okay, so this is pretty much goes with the same document, the slide before. Kindergarten, of course, is in listening comprehension. It assumes that by AP 3 they should be reading. First grade, they should be at passage level 1.1. By AP 1, AP 2, passage level 1.3. Assessment period 3, passage level 1.5. Second grade, same thing. By assessment period 1, they should be reading at 2.2. Assessment period 2, 2.4. And assessment period 3, 2.5.
So kindergarten that's reading on a, to give an example, on 1.5 or 1.6.
Kindergarten. If you have a kindergarten that's reading at a 1.6, that is awesome.
My grandson.
Yes, that is awesome. Yes.
So kindergarten would be those averages.
This is kindergarten. Kindergarten is listening comprehension. Because remember, they're not ready to read yet. Okay.
But if they're reading, like for our students, do you have those numbers?
No, this is it. If you have a kindergarten that's reading at a 1 point whatever grade level, then they're on grade level. Then you just need to enrich that student and encourage that student to do better.
But then they would be reading on first grade. not
But they are reading on the first grade level, yes.
Because it's at the ends of the year's AP three,
It's
is that
at
like gonna be, so that was my question, kind of.
So those are the same numbers for first and kindergarten? I'm confused.
No, because kindergarten doesn't get reading comprehension until the end of the year. So is the first reading passage the first grade one? Is it
Yes.
the
Sam the Pig, that's the
Is
first
the
one.
one for kindergarten AP three?
That's the first one for kindergarten AP 3.
And the same thing is gonna be for AP one for
For first grade,
Right,
yes.
so that's
So
the
if they
transition
sit-
from kinder to first.
Yes,
Correct.
so if they sit if they reach Sam the Pig in kindergarten, they're gonna see it first again in Sam the Pig, in first grade, so chances are they're gonna do extremely well and probably even read back, go to the next passage level.
But as far as leveling, it's a 1.1, like it's a first grade test.
Yes.
Okay.
And
The passage is big.
The pass rate, if they can't,
It
it's
depends
like
on
first grade
on
level.
what percent of what?
The reading, the word reading.
The word
The
reading,
word
so depending on how many they know, then they'll
Then
have
it
a higher
bumps into
passage.
the passage, yeah. And once they're reading that passage, depending on how well, if they don't do so well, I think if they miss the first 4 words, or they miss 4 consistent words, it bumps them back to passage level. So in this case, if you have your kindergarten that's reading Sam the Pig and they can't read 4 words consecutively, then it's gonna bump them back to listening comprehension. And then the same thing for any other grades. If they're reading a passage and they don't read those words consistent, then they bump them back to passage level.
We'll be reading what Sam and Pig.
Not on.
They'll be in listening comprehension. So they're reading Sound the Pig, because remember Sound the Pig is the first passage. So if they're reading Sound the Pig and don't do well on Sound the Pig, it's gonna bump them to listening comprehension. Okay? But then you will know, okay, I need to give this student needs some sight words. I need to do some sight words with this child.
And
Because
that's
if
what I
they
was
even got
gonna
to
say.
Sound the Pig, that is good. That is great, they did.
Would you agree that in the near future, the fare would probably have to be changed to meet the Common Core standards? Because a lot of kids are reading now by AP 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we should know what level they are now before the end of the year, so we can, because the standards are higher.
And for those kids that are reading already,
Yes.
you can continue to provide enrichment activities for them. You can use Reading A to Z. You can also use what I was telling you about the other day, the 6-minute solution decodable passages, and start timing them, building their fluency, because the passages are like this and they're decodable. They're just like Sam the Pig, and they're filled with high frequency words, things that they see every day anyway. So
And I-
just keep enriching them.